One was Mike Green from Marshall. He led the nation in sacks last year. Had 17 sacks.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. Now, having said that, and if you go on YouTube and type in Senior Bowl Mike Green on YouTube, nobody could block him. He just gets shot out of a gun coming off that first step. But I went and looked at his college stats game by game to see where all these sacks came from, and he got a couple of sacks against Georgia State. He got some sacks against Old Dominion. So yeah, I guess if you're in that conference, the Sun Belt Conference, then it's possible that you could get 17 sacks in a single season. He had 33 tackles for loss. He had 131 total tackles. Now, let me say that again. He had 131 total tackles this past year.
This year?
He's highly productive. Four forced fumbles. Let me see what his height and weight is. He's not a very meaty guy. He's 6'4", but he's only 248. I don't know what would happen if he added 30 pounds and got to be close to 280. He kind of looks like a linebacker more than he does an edge rusher. But that first step, he is just a bullet coming right off the snap. And I think him and another guy, Shamar Stewart, they were the two guys that everybody talked about, because no offensive lineman, I don't care who it is, and there were several that are going to be drafted in the bottom half of the first round and all in the second round, none of them could draft him.
You mean block him?
I mean block him, excuse me.
Yeah, so you mentioned Mike Green last week when we were talking about offensive linemen, and I forget which one it was. You said there was one guy who was the only one who could almost block him, I think you said. So it sounds like Mike Green is insane, in his pass rush. And I watched a couple highlights from the Senior Bowl where I saw exactly what you just described. Definitely not as big as, because I don't watch Marshall football. I didn't really know Mike Green. Watching the highlights, right. I'm thinking, this guy isn't nearly as big as I was expecting for the production and the hype and everything about him. But I saw him go up against a massive offensive lineman, much bigger than him, and he just rocked him, just right through the guy, put him on his ass, and just, it's like, holy crap, this guy's explosive. And you're right, if he could put on, and it doesn't even, I don't even know if it'd have to be 30 pounds, like get 15 more. Let's cut that in half and just be a speed rusher off the edge. His power is already pro level, or at least I thought so, watching a couple of those things. So really cool to hear about Mike Green. Now, did you say, I'm sorry if you said in there about draft round, but I see him being mocked first round in a lot of places.
Yeah, I think he's ranked number 11. Okay. By the way, I'm on the phone with Mike Green's agent. I'm telling him that instead of Green adding 30 pounds, that you've said to gain 15 pounds. So I think that's going to work right there.
Okay.
But he's ranked number 11. I use Pro Football Focus's big board, and they rank him number 11. He could shoot up a little bit, because I'm telling you, he just absolutely dominated everybody but Gray Zabel from North Dakota State. He absolutely dominated. And it almost looked like he was rushing against high school guys. He would just come off that line, and before you know it, he would lean, and before you know it, he would be past the guy. And most of these guys were trying to use their arms to do a reach and try to push him deep into the pocket. It was just too late. He was already, as the quarterback was dropping back from the center snap to get into position in the pocket, Mike Green was already there.
I mean, he sounds like a stud, and definitely looks like one in the highlights that I was watching from the Senior Bowl. And by all accounts, it wasn't just the highlights. Like, that was it. That was the show, with Mike Green was just running these offensive linemen into the ground.